Hari Om, all of you. A very, very good morning. So we are here for the sixth session on knowledge, tradition, practices of India. I think we are doing a record of creating such wonderful talks by really people from enriching, giving us ideas and taking your level from whatever you are studying to the next level. A lot of input you are receiving from various people, experts in the field, and I'm sure it's going to make a big difference to your studies. And today we are going to talk about the agriculture, a topic, a survey on agriculture, a lesson in the class 12 book that we are going to talk about it. Before we start the session, let's have the prayer. Meena Amma, you can invite whoever is doing the prayer.
Thank you, Amma. Hari Om to everyone. Let's all sit straight and get ready for the prayer, which will be rendered by G. Pavitra of CV Pallavur.
Thank you. That was a wonderful prayer. And I think it's set the tone for the day today. And we have today's session being taken by Mrs. Parimala. She's done a postgraduate in agricultural pathology from the Tamil Nadu Agricultural University from Coimbatore. And she's been working with the Center for the Indian Knowledge System for the last 16 years. And she has 2 decades of experience in organic farming in the field and in the lab. She has been involved in the promotion of sustainable agriculture technologies and traditional healthcare practices along the farming communities through training programs, exposure visits, and promotion of traditional rice varieties. And she has a deep technical knowledge in organic cultivation and also provide organic farming and organic certification consultancy aid support for the clients. She's an expert in terrace gardening and home gardens and helps one to come up with a garden of any size. A great teacher and loves to work with children. She has conducted a lot of sessions for school children, and she is also specialized in working with the biodiversity conservation and the Vriksha Ayurveda, the ancient Indian plant science. And they work with the livelihood of small and marginal farmers through sustainable agriculture research and conduct a lot of training programs. She's an expert in conducting training programs, and we are very, very fortunate that she has given us time today. Thank you so much, Parimala ji. And we have here about 92 students are here with 9 teachers from various Chinmaya Vidyalayas, from Kannur, Chinmaya International Residential School, Nagapatnam, Pallavur, Chenganur, Kollangur, Tattamangalam. And we also have students from Arya Gurukul, Kalyan, Mumbai, and Amrita Vidyalaya branches from Trichy and Thoothukudi. Our children are also here. And we have been going through these sessions just for the information of you. The 12th standard syllabus has about 8 chapters and 7 chapters actually. We have almost done 6 chapters. And we have been getting experts talking about it. Like we had a session on architecture, Natya Shastra and martial arts and ethics and education survey. And now today we are here to do the lesson on agriculture. Ma'am has gone through your lesson also, and I'm sure she's going to be enlightening all of us. Over to Parimala, ma'am. Welcome you, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am. First of all, I would like to thank Ms. Shanti Krishnamurthy, Director of Chinmaya Course, for inviting me to do this presentation on traditional practices in agriculture. Thank you once again, ma'am. Good morning to all. Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yeah, it's perfectly clear.
It's perfectly clear. Okay, fine. Actually, I'm a postgraduate, as introduced by ma'am. I'm a postgraduate in agriculture in plant pathology. I completed my course during 1998. Why I am repeating this is because whatever we are learning from our books, actually it's advanced stage of learning. We are not learning about our traditional practices or about our traditional knowledge in whatever the books we are learning. Okay. Now, after completion of my post-graduation, I came to the field directly. What I saw was entirely different from the books. So it should not be like that for you people. Okay, whatever we are learning in the books is partially we can continue those practices, but our traditional practices are still in practice among the farming groups and other group of communities. We have to follow that also. We have to learn that also. In this today's session, we are going to learn about what are the traditional practices that are followed by our own farmers from the ancient days. Actually, we are now what we are seeing from the outside world is chemical farming. That is not the original practice of farming in those days. So we are going to learn what are the different methods, what are the ancient practices those farmers they have followed from those good olden days. And they have survived for more than 100 years without any disease or without any ailment. Nowadays, it's not possible for us to live the healthy life that. So, straight away we'll go for the presentation because my presentation is having almost 48 slides, I think so. And after that, we are having a small video film also. So I won't take much of your time. And I'll complete my presentation. If you're having any questions, you can ask after the session completes. I have also gone through your syllabus, and most of my presentation is covered all those aspects. Apart from that, some of the small subjects like implements, whatever it is already there in the website. You can see that also. Meena ma'am, can we straight away go to the presentation now?
Sure.
Yeah. In the syllabus, I saw so many texts, that is the ancient texts which are related to the agriculture like that. First, we'll go through one of that. Actually, in the field, after completion of my graduation, when I came to the field, I came to know there are two different types of knowledge among the farming community. Apart from the book, whatever I have studied in the book is purely chemical farming. When we come to the field, it purely depends upon the farming community. We have to go and study with them and work with them in order to move on with the practices. So the next line, ma'am. There are two different types of knowledge, ma'am. Second one, yeah. There are two different types of knowledge. One is a classical or textual knowledge, whatever the syllabus mentioned, like Arthashastra, like Vriksha Ayurveda. So many texts are available in the farming knowledge, in giving the farming knowledge. Apart from the textual knowledge, the farmers, they are having their own practice. There is a popular knowledge among themselves. For example, if they want to do the sowing activity, they will select the period according to the monsoon set. That monsoon is, they will learn about the monsoon practice by themselves. They won't depend upon any meteorological department to predict the monsoon. By seeing the sky itself, they'll predict this is the best season. And today there won't be any rain. Rain will come only after 1 week. I think they'll predict. Their ancient knowledge is like that. Those are the very popular knowledge gained by our ancestors. So depending on that, they'll go for selecting the seeds and selecting the crop and selecting the season for the cultivation. So there are two different types of knowledge. One is the textual knowledge that is mostly depends upon our books, and popular knowledge which is in practice by the farmers from the good olden days. The next slide now. Some of the books like Riksha Ayurveda books. Riksha Ayurveda means Ayurveda which relates to the plants. That's all. The plants which are having the medicinal properties, we can learn from those books. Riksha Ayurveda by Surapala, Vishwavallabha, Krishi Parashara, and Braham Saidita, Upavana, and Velala Puranam in Tamil. So likewise, so many other texts are available. And these texts, from these texts, we can learn about how to do the sowing, how to select the seeds, and how to do the seed treatment for those seeds before sowing the seeds, like that. These texts are available in almost all the languages of India: Sanskrit, Tamil, Malayalam, Urdu, Telugu, Kannada, everywhere. There are so many texts. But whatever the farmers they are following, we have to back study that. Well, some farmers are following some type of method of sowing. It will be mentioned in some of the texts. We have to go back and search for the texts which are related to those farmers' practice. Next slide now. These are some of other additional books which are available in the so far traditional practices, like Honeybee. Honeybee is an English type, and the translation of the Honeybee is the Namvari Velanmai in Tamil. And one of the important book in our traditional knowledge is Inventory of Indian Traditional Knowledge. This book covers almost all the type of practices from sowing to harvest and to storage. From the sowing, there are different steps in the agriculture: sowing, transplanting, weeding, pest and disease management, harvesting, storage, milling, and take the produce to the consumers. From the farmers to the consumer, there are several steps in the farming activity. We are the consumers, but from the farmer side, they will do all the farming technologies and they'll give the produce to the marketing sector. From the marketing sector, we the consumers, we are getting the produce from the marketing sector. But by simply seeing the produce, we will tell this product is nice, this product is not good, this product is best for us, this product is not suitable for us. Like that, we are giving simply a comment. But the farmers, they are toiling very much to bring the produce to the market. Those technologies, from every step of this farming activity, involves certain scientific knowledge behind that. All the scientific knowledge they are doing in that field. Some of the things are doing as a practice. Some of the things, most of the things, what they are doing in the field, that comes from the indigenous knowledge, only indigenous traditional knowledge. All those points, all those methodologies are mentioned in the inventory book, Inventory of Indigenous Knowledge System. And the next book is the Validation of Indigenous Knowledge System. This book validates all the practices that was mentioned in the inventory. Based on that inventory book, they will do the validation. Well, suppose if the particular farmer is telling this calotropis leaf, for example, I'm telling calotropis leaf. We take the calotropis leaf. From that calotropis leaf, we can prepare arkam. Arkam is one type of dry ash. That's all. We can prepare the dry ash, and if you're going to use that dry ash in the control of the pest for brinjal, it will control the pest, particular pest. Those texts are mentioned in the inventory of indigenous traditional knowledge. First, we have to validate it, whether it is correct. Even though it is mentioned in the ITK book, we have to validate it, because we are going to teach the farming community. This type of technology is available for the particular pest. Whatever the technology, what I told is, it is useful to control the Epilacna beetle in the brinjal plant. It is a voracious feeder. If it comes to the particular feed, it will damage the brinjal crop within a short span of time. We won't give effective yield from the particular crop. So in order to control it, there is no chemical control method itself. Till now, there is no particular chemical to control the particular pest of Epilacna. So we have to search for that. In the ITK book, it is clearly mentioned that Calotropis arcum, that is a dry ash prepared out of Calotropis, is able to control the Epilacna beetle, that too selectively, without affecting the brinjal plant. So we have to validate that practice. We have to do the experiments in our own, and we have to test it whether it is working properly and at what concentration of the dry ash is able to kill the particular pest. We have to validate it. All these validation technologies are mentioned in the validation book. So after validating only, we have to bring those technologies to the farmer's field, because they are living with the live subject. If you're going to advocate them a false knowledge or false technology, the entire crop will get damaged. So these inventory and validation books help us to give more traditional knowledge to the farmers. And in the middle, there is one book called Velan Makkal Panchangam. Panchangam means they will study the Panchangam and they'll predict this season, this nakshatra, or this day. This is Amavasai, this is Paurnami. We have to do this particular type of activity now. And we should not do this particular type of activity today, like that. Male no kunal, keel no kunal. Suppose if it is a keel no kunal, it's mentioned in Panchangam, they will sow the crops like tuber type of crops. They will do so during those days. They won't do it during the male no kunal. So tubers, they usually grow inside the soil. So we have to see all these type of practices the farmers are practicing with the use of this Panchangam. Okay. Next slide. Yeah, apart from the books pertaining to the agriculture, there are also several other ancestral books, good older books with regard to the vast variety of herbal and medicinal plants, and also to know about the nutritional properties of the plants. For example, what type of rice we are eating? Can anyone answer? Can any one student? What type of rice we are eating? Student, not from the teachers.
You can type in the
sense what color. Yeah, you can type in the chat box.
What do you know about the rice that you eat?
Rice. Only particularly I'm asking about the rice. Any rice name? Basmati.
Be free to write, children. Just write it. Whatever you know, you write so that you can interact.
I got one answer from Kasagod. It's Basmati. Any other person?
White rice.
No.
Somebody has said white rice.
White rice. Yeah, fine. White rice. Just a minute. White rice. Okay, fine. We don't know.
Jasmine rice.
Jasmine rice. Fine. Jasmine rice. That is
Kerala
called,
rice.
Yes.
Sona Masuri.
Sona Masuri. Yes. Okay, fine. At least I can get able to see some of the variety names also. Sona Masuri, Basmati, Jasmine, Arborio rice. Yeah. Sanskrit. Okay, fine. Likewise, we are having different type of rice, but generally, we children, we know black rice. Yeah, very good answer. Black rice. Generally, the children of your age, they know only the rice is white in color. Whatever the rice we are getting, ponni, jeera rice. Yes, I'm getting so many answers. It's very good to see this type of interaction. Yeah. Whatever the rice we are getting in the outside market is only of improved rice variety. Whatever the rice, like ponni, somebody has mentioned ponni, Sona Masuri, like that, bamboo rice. Yeah. Sona Masuri and ponni are the improved rice varieties which are very white in color. We are getting those rice variety only after polishing. After milling, they will do the polishing and they will supply the rice to the market. So that only we are getting the pure white color rice. But whatever our ancestors they ate, it's not of pure white variety. We'll discuss about it later. So kauli rice, yeah, glutinous rice. Yes, good, ma'am. Okay, fine. So those traditional varieties and most of our herbal, they are having n number of nutritional properties with them. We have to study the nutritional properties. These properties we are able to study with the available labs, but it was previously mentioned in our good olden books. It was Indian medicinal plants and WHO guidelines. Some of the herbal medicine which are very useful for the human health. Very common herbal plants like tulsi, karpuravalli, like that. Those are the very common herbal plants which are useful for our own human health. Even without going to before going to the doctors or medical physicians, we can advise those medicines to our local people. All these texts are available in the ancient book literatures. Next, ma'am. Yeah. Apart from this, these books are available, written very long ago, before 3,000 years ago, they were written and preserved. But only thing what we have to do is we have to look after that book. We have to read that book particularly, and we have to select the text from the book, and we have to validate and advise it to the farmers. But this is one part. But in some parts of Tamil Nadu and some parts of India, even now, some of the farmers are practicing their farming activity with those traditional knowledge, which are mentioned in these books. Okay, whatever the farmers are practicing. For example, now the present farming system, they have introduced so many chemicals. They are advising at this particular stage, you have to put, actually the plants need nitrogen, phosphorus and potash on all the stages of crop growth. So the department, whatever the agriculture department is advising is, you have to apply the proper proportion of NPK, that is nitrogen, phosphorus, and potash in the form of urea or potash or MOP like that. We have to supply at this stage, this much amount, for example, 200 kgs, 300 kgs like that. But in those days, good older days before the revolution, green revolution, the farmers, they have practiced the very good, very excellent knowledge. With their excellent knowledge, they have practiced the farming without these use of any of these chemicals. How they did farming, how they got those yield. These are all because of the ancient knowledge. They got all the nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, potash with the use of the plants itself, without using any of the chemicals. So all these texts are mentioned in the books itself. But these books are not written now. They are written before 300 years ago. We have to collect those books and we have to study those books and we have to validate it and inform it to the younger generation of farmers. Even nowadays, the farmers who are having 90 years old or 80 years old, they know about this knowledge. But the present farming generation, like 40 to 50 years, they don't know about the ancient knowledge. One side, they have to learn from their ancestors, or other thing, we have to advocate them like this. This type of text is available, this type of technology is available for the particular thing. You have to do this. For this, we have to go through the ancient books. Okay, whatever the knowledge obtained from the books in India is entirely different from the other countries. Next slide, ma'am. In case of Europe and United States, whatever the their traditional knowledge in agriculture is purely chemical farming. They do the chemical farming from those days itself. They don't know anything about the non-chemical farming. They'll use chemicals. They'll use chemical for all type of cultivation and they'll bring the product to the market. But in case of India, they are entirely different from other countries. Our basic traditional knowledge is only the use of organic practices without use of any chemical in any of the farming stage. So ours is the most sustainable one because we are not depending upon any of the companies to get the chemicals to use it in the farming sector. So and ours is sustainable. Our sustainability is more and eco-friendliness because of non-usage of chemicals. Our product is very eco-friendly in nature. So only this inherent knowledge is pertained to the Indian tradition, but when compared to the other countries. So our knowledge base in agriculture is very strong when compared to other foreign countries. Next slide now. Yeah, fine. When coming to the text, I'm going to explain only one text and also I'm going to take only one example from the text. In Riksha Ayurveda, there are different sectors, different arts it's mentioned. So in case of one art like Riksha Ayurveda Yoga, this is dealing with the treatment for plants. Like human being, plants are also affected by many diseases caused by fungal, bacteria, viral, or external injury like that. For those injuries or those diseases, we have to treat those plants. So without using chemicals, how we have to treat those plants? Those texts are mentioned in the Riksha Ayurveda Yoga. We have to go through this, and from that, for example, whatever the example I gave, Calotropis arcum is used to control the particular Epilacna beetle pest in brinjal. That text was mentioned in the Riksha Ayurveda Yoga. For that, we have to go through the Riksha Ayurveda Yoga. The next part is art of grafting trees. In your syllabus, I saw some of the grafting technology. What are the plant propagation method? It's one of the plant propagation method in horticulture crop, like cutting, layering, grafting, wedging, like that. For this type of grafting technology was also introduced, was also mentioned in the Purhadam Dohada. In those texts, they have written is what type of plant you have to select, what time we have to do the grafting technology, or how long should be the stem, how long should be the grafting method, how long the duration of the grafting period, entire duration of the grafting period, how to select the scion, that is one of the tissues. Okay, how to do the grafting technology, what is a particular season, all those texts are mentioned in the Dohada period itself, in the book itself. And next is the Vriksharohanam, that is the growth of trees. In some places you can see some trees are planted a long back. After 5 years also the mango tree didn't grow well. So we have to test it. Why this plant is not growing very well. It's not a short type. It's a mango tree. We know very well. We know it's a huge tree, but it is very small even after 5 years. So there is some problem with the tree. So we have to see what type of problem it's affected. Like human being, these trees or plants are also affected by Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. We will tell no Vata, Pitta, and Kapha in human beings. I will come on later to this slide. So those texts also are available in the Riksha. Next is the decoration with flowers. Nowadays we are giving bouquet and nice flower arrangement in small functions, like even for Deepavali or Deepam, we will do nice flower decoration. Those type of flower decorations also mentioned in the ancient text like Pushpa Toranam. This text knows what type of flower is selected to be kept in the particular function. For example, if it is a auspicious day, you have to keep those particular flower in the this type of arrangement. If it is not an auspicious day, for example, something like that, this you should not use certain type of flowers for those period. This type of text are mentioned in the Pushpatoram. Next slide now. Yeah, with regard to agriculture, now I'm going to focus only with regard to the farming sector. So what are the scopes that are mentioned in the Riksha Veda? From the base of farming is the seeds. Without seeds, we can't do any farming activity. For that, how to select the particular seed. Farmers know this type of seed, this variety is suitable for this particular season. For example, this November, October, from August to January, this is the main season for the paddy crop in southern India. Main season. This is the best season for the paddy crop. Farmers very well know about that particular season. But for cultivating paddy, they want to have a good germinative and good bigger seeds of paddy. So they have to collect those seeds, how to select those good quality seeds, how to do the storage of seeds. They should not pack the seeds in an airtight container, and they should not keep inside the airtight room or box. Okay, so they have to keep the store the seeds for a particular period. Suppose if the farmer is going to harvest the seeds during the month of January of this year, they have to preserve those seeds from the month of January to the month of August. Almost they have to keep the seeds for 8 months for the next season. They have to preserve those seeds. How to store the particular seeds? How to keep it without affected by pest or rat or by human damage, like that. They have to keep it very safely. These texts are available in the Riksha Veda. And germination, when you are going to sow the seeds, they should germinate with good vigor. If the seed is not having good vigor, only they'll germinate. They won't give rise to a good quality crop. So we have to test the seed germination, whether the seed is having good vigor before the sowing itself. Those texts are mentioned in the Riksha Veda. And plant propagation methods like grafting, wedging, layering, budding, whatever the technologies used in the horticulture crops like fruit trees and the flower crops, they are also clearly mentioned in the Riksha Veda text. And nursing and irrigation. What type of irrigation is suitable for a particular crop? Suppose if it is a paddy crop, we have to do a flooding type of irrigation. Suppose if it is a vegetable crop, we should not do the flooding type of irrigation. If we do the flooding type of irrigation, the entire crop will get damaged. It will get rot. So we have to do the rich type of irrigation. And suppose if it is a cash crop like sugarcane, like that, we can do drip type of irrigation. Okay, it depends upon the crop. The irrigation methods also clearly mentioned there. And selection of soil. There are different types of soil like red soil, alluvial soil, sandy soil, loamy soil. There are clayey soil. Clayey soil is not suitable for any of the crop. At least we can try paddy for that. We can't select any vegetables for the clayey soil. So depending upon the soil type, whether it is a red soil or alluvial soil, it is a very good soil for almost all the crop types. But clayey soil is suitable only for the paddy. In type of sandy soil, you can't grow any crop in that, because whenever you're going to irrigate the sandy soil, the entire water will drain off. So you can't select the particular type of soil for the cultivation of plants. So this knowledge, even though I am telling a very small point from that text, it's a huge chapter. With regard to soil, it's a very huge chapter. How to convert the sandy soil for the cultivation. In some of the coastal areas, we have to do the farming for our own sustenance. For that area, we have to convert those sandy soils to the cultivable soil. How to convert that sandy soil to the cultivable? For that, we have to add some silt from the pond. We have to collect the silt from the pond, and we can add to the sandy soil, and we have to mix it in a particular proportion, so that we are making the sandy soil more sustainable to the paddy farming or some crop farming. So these type of texts are there. And manuring without use of chemicals, how to grow the crop. That's a very big question mark for the present farmers. So we have to advise them, no, in the ancestral text, we are having these many type of methods of manuring. There are not one or two. There are different types of manuring from the ancestral text. So we have to follow that. Pest and disease management. Suppose nowadays what we are doing, even we are having small cough, straight away we are going to the medical shop and we are getting 1 or 2 tablets, and apart from that we are getting substances and putting them. So we are depending upon the chemical source. So for the pest and disease management of the crop, it is not like that. We should not go like that. For example, whatever I told is Calotropis is a plant. Calotropis is purely a plant. The dried powder of the Calotropis leaf is more effective than any of the chemical pesticides. So many valuable plants we are having in and around us. So we have to make use of that particular plant in the pest and disease management. Description and classification of plants suited for varied purpose. Yes, a particular plant. Suppose if you are going to plant a small amount of kalancha or tulsi or aloe vera, we are going to use those plants for the herbal properties, And apart from that, suppose this type of plants like vegetables, karamani, for cowpea, we are going to cultivate cowpea. We can use either it as a dried cowpea seeds, or as a pulse, as a vegetable. There are different types of uses. So we have those texts are also mentioned there. Favorable and unfavorable meteorological conditions. Nowadays, I don't know about the entire, I don't want to go for the entire India. With regard to southern India, nowadays, whatever the prediction given by the meteorological department, we are unable to judge it. Suppose if they are going to tell particular day it is going to be raining heavily, and there won't be any rain for the next 10 days. So farmers, what they will tell, okay, we'll plan according to the meteorological department. They're going to plan for the sowing. But it's not reliable nowadays. Suddenly they are on the first day, they'll do the sowing. The second or third day, they'll get rainfall. So the entire crop will get damaged because soon after the sowing, there should not be any rainfall. If it is a heavy rainfall, that seeds will get rot and it will get damaged. Okay. So the farmers own their own knowledge to predict the rainfall. They won't depend upon the meteorological department. Okay. From the ancestral period onwards, they know how to predict the rainfall. So these texts are available in the particular book. Next one. Yeah, I'm going to take one particular example out of the Riksha Ayurveda text. I'm taking only one example. Diseases in plants. How the diseases are caused, how we are going to control it with the use of the Riksha Ayurveda text. Mostly the diseases to the plants are caused by 2 different methods. One is exogenous and the one is endogenous. Exogenous is nothing but the damage caused due to fire, lightning or injuries. Suppose if you're going to, just without knowingly, unknowingly, we are going to put the knife like that, we are going to damage the particular crop. So it will get damaged. Those damages are caused by the external factors. So some of the factors like Vata, Pitta, Kapha, like human being, those are the endogenous factors which are going to affect the particular crop. Okay. Vata means what? Gas problem. Some like in human beings, we will tell no, some gas problem is there. We are having some stomach problem, some irritable bowel like that. Those are the gas problem. Those gas problems are related to the Vata. Pitta. If you drink more of coffee or tea, they will tell no, your Pitta will rise. Don't drink too much of coffee like that. It is pertaining to human. Kapha. When you get cold, throat irritation or something, some irritation in the chest, they will tell no, kabam. Our body becomes heat and we are getting cold. Like that we are telling. So these Vata, Pitta or Kabam is pertaining to the plants also. So we'll see how the Vata, Pitta and Kapha causes the disease to the plant, how we can visualize those symptoms in the plants and how we have to overcome. These are all depends upon the Riksha Ayurveda text only. Next slide now. Vata, Pitta and Kapha. Vata. Suppose if the particular crop or the plant or the tree is affected by Vata, then the plant looks very slender and tall. It won't look so healthy. Ulliya Vayarama, that is slim and height, tall. We'll tell the human beings, see how slim it is and how tall it is, like that. The plants will get, if it is affected by Vata, the plants are very slender, tall, light in weight. Suppose 16-year boy, they have to weigh, at least he should weigh about 45 to 50 kgs. But he will be more underweight, like 30 kgs, like the plants also. Depending upon the age, they won't weigh. They will be very light in weight and rough on the surface. Deformed nodes. The nodes are very big and the nodes are bulged, like around the small globule at the nodal region. And the leaves are with nodules. You can see this type of symptom more frequently in the mango. Danko tree has a globules, small globules in the leaves. Leaves, normal leaves are cut. There won't be a normal leaf type. There will be a huge number of globules of the leaf. So this plant is particularly affected by Vata. What we have to do? Next slide, I'll cover it with that. Suppose if the particular plant is affected by Pitta, if we are going to touch the plant, it will break away very easily. Okay, and it will be able to withstand. It won't be break away. It will withstand even the strong sunlight. And the most the leaves greenery will go and it will get discolored to yellow color. Oozing occurs in the fruits. The plant won't be a normal plant. Suppose if the particular plant is affected by kapha, it will be stout with the thick stems and plenty of leaves and branches, abundant fruiting. But abundant fruiting will be there, but the fruiting will be not in the normal season. It will fruit abnormally, and the leaves won't be in the proper shape with the proper leaf blade like that. And the most of the time, the entire tree will emit some abnormal smell. So it is affected by kapha. So these type of classification are clearly mentioned in the Vriksha Ayurveda test. Suppose if the particular crop is tender and weak, it will be affected by Vata. It breaks easily and able to withstand sunlight even in the hot seasons like May. So it is affected by Pitta. Kapha. Kapha means abnormal smell or the abundant branching and fruiting. So this plant is affected by kapha. So these three different types of diseases are mentioned in the Vriksha Ayurveda. They also mention how to overcome these diseases. Next slide, ma'am. Yeah. Suppose if the particular crop is affected by Vata, this problem. So we have to irrigate the soil with the decoction prepared out of some sweet substances, even it is a sugar, because the plant needs that. So in order to overcome Vata, we have to supply the plants with the sweetness solution, decoction made out of any sweet substance. Otherwise, we have to change the dry soil into the moist soil by irrigating. By doing the frequent irrigation, we have to keep the soil always moist. In case of Pitta, predominantly cool, which are predominantly cool, because Pitta means overheat. There is a overheat. So we have to cool the plant, which are cool, sweet, and astringent properties. Those substances we have to irrigate the particular crop. Suppose that the crop is affected with kapha. So bitter or pungent taste. Irrigate the soil with the bitter or pungent taste. Even if you can use bitter gourd, make the bitter gourd as a extract, and you can supply those type of solutions into the soil. Replace the marshy soil from the root and hard and dry soil. Those soil are very marshy. In case of Vata, the dry soil will be dry. We have to change the soil from dry to moist. But in case of kapha, we have to replace the marshy soil with the dry soil. So these are all the differences. All these texts, all these type of methodologies, treatment methods are mentioned in our ancient books itself, not from the today's book. I didn't read any of this type of treatment or any of this type of ailment in my postgraduate books. So these texts are available in plenty in numbers from our ancient period. So we have to go through the text and we have to advocate this to the farmers. Okay. So far I have dealt only about the ancient knowledge. Now we have to go about the next stage. What is agrobiodiversity? What are the different type of varieties available in nature and what we are consuming? Okay. Shall we move on to the next session? Next part. So far, is it clear?
You can show a thumbs up, those who are with the video on.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'll move on to the next session, next part of the syllabus. Yes, ma'am. Next slide. Yeah. In our ancient days, we are having a, ma'am, shall we go to the next slide, ma'am? Then we'll come to this slide. Yeah. This is a complete paddy field. Okay. See how many colors are you can see in the paddy field. First one is green, dark brown, dark black, like that. So we are having a plenty of varieties in the paddy. Once upon a time, the farmers started to cultivate hectare. They'll cultivate paddy in 100 hectares, groundnut in 100 hectares. Like that, they'll cultivate the entire area with one paddy, one crop variety. Yeah, thank you. Yes, ma'am, I can slow down. Yes. Thanks for the suggestion. Okay. In the previous golden days, farmers what will they do in order to meet out the demand from the customer side, they have to supply more amount of paddy, that is the rice. So they cultivated paddy in an extensive land area of coverage. So likewise, they started to do the cultivation. Suddenly, what happened? Ma'am, previous slide, ma'am. Suddenly, what happened? We have to know that due to lack of monsoon, failed monsoon, and the great famines, like several famines, Irish famine, Irish potato famine, potato crop was entirely damaged, and Bengal famine, the entire paddy crop was damaged. Likewise, several famines happened those days. The farmers were unable to meet out the demands of the consumers. So we, the consumers, are affected. We are unable to get our own food. So we have to depend only on the farmers for our own food. We don't have any other choice. So what the farmers are stunned what we are going to do. Ma'am, next slide. These are some of the famines. In 1846, Irish potato famine. The entire potato crop was damaged due to the sudden famine. And in Sri Lanka in 1800s, there was a huge damage to the coffee. So we are unable to get coffee product from the Sri Lanka. Then the rice crop in Indonesia, not only in Indonesia, even in Bengal also, we got this type of famine in 1974. Okay, the entire paddy crop was particularly damaged due to sudden outbreak of what disease, bacterial leaf blights. The entire crop was damaged. Suddenly, if the particular crop is damaged, we won't have the particular technology what we have to do to control the particular bacterial leaf blights. They have to search here and there. They should have some time to give the conclusion to the farmers. Before giving to the farmers, they should have some clear knowledge of the control measures. And the failure of the crops in Florida, there's a lemon, the entire citrus fruit was damaged. So if we are going to subject it to this type of famines or lack of monsoon or delayed monsoon or very meager monsoon, we have to depend, the farmers have to depend upon the monsoon for getting a good yield of their crop. So in order to overcome this type of problems, suddenly one new revolution came up. Ma'am, next slide. Yeah, this type of practice also the farmers did. What they have do means, instead of doing one monoculture means growing the paddy after paddy after paddy, or paddy, vegetable paddy. What they want to do, they want to introduce some other varieties from different areas of the world. But accidentally what happened? We need some other varieties of the crop. But accidentally what happened to us is eucalyptus is one of the weed. It's not as we actually, it's one of the weed. It was introduced from Australia to India. Likewise, lantana. Lantana is a voracious weed. Lantana and prosopis. These two crops are the voracious weeds. Now they are prevalent everywhere in India. This was introduced from South America and North America. Accidentally, it has happened with the bringing of new varieties from other countries to our country. Okay, fine. In order to overcome all these difficulties, because we should not bring any crops from the other countries, we should not do monoculture, but we have to give good supply of food to the consumers. What the farmers will do in those days, there is a revolution, not called green revolution. Next slide, ma'am. Yeah, with the invent of green revolution, what happened was they introduced a huge variety of improved varieties, high performance hybrid varieties of paddy. Okay, suppose if you're going to sow the paddy seed, okay, any of you know how long the paddy will take to grow? How long? Any idea? General idea? At least months? No. Okay. Okay, I'll go to the session. With the help of green revolution, during the green revolution, they have introduced high performance hybrid crops, which are of shorter duration. Actually, the duration of the paddy crops is 5 to 6 months in the earlier days. Now, no, ma'am, 6 months. 6 months is good. But the 6 months is pertaining to the indigenous traditional paddy varieties. That is whatever the ancestors they have preserved, those varieties are subjected to 6 months. Okay, 95 days, good. But whatever the crops hybrids introduced during the green revolution period, that is only 3 months, that is shortly 60 days to 75 days. With the use of more amount of chemical fertilizers and pesticides, they were able to get very good amount of yield. But this type of hybrid, they gave results only to a particular short span of period, because whatever the chemicals we have introduced into the field, they have damaged all the microorganisms in the field. The microorganisms and the microbial growth, whatever present in the soil, gets affected, completely affected by the advent use of chemicals, and slowly the yield is in the declining phase. Whatever the yield that was obtained during the Green Revolution, that was slowly declined. Okay, fine. Next, what is the next step? We have introduced the Green Revolution, we have introduced the hybrids, we have introduced more inputs also, even though we are using those hybrids, chemicals, everything, but we are unable to get the yield for the demanding customers. What's the next step? Now the farmers have to go back and see what are the available resources available with us itself. So that is the advent of the traditional varieties. Next slide. And next slide. Yeah. We had a collection of nearly 4 lakh different varieties of rice. 4 lakh. If you are going to eat rice a day, we can live for 500 years without repeating the same rice for our own consumption. So there is a huge variety of paddy. Okay, suppose if you are going to eat basmati today, Sona Masuri next day. Sona Masuri is an improved variety. Siraga Samba next day. Black rice next day. Likewise, you can live our life for 500 years without repeating the rice. So these many amount collection of rice varieties are available in our past generation. Okay, next slide, ma'am. During the 1995, when our organization CAKS entered into the field, there was we are unable to find even a single indigenous paddy variety in the market. Okay, for example, basmati is one of the indigenous paddy variety. Siraga Samba is the next one. Likewise, so many numbers are there, but we are unable to trace out. We started collecting those varieties. Now I want to show one slide. See here. These are the different collections. One will be in dull color, one will be in dark brown color, one will be in the black color. This particular variety is called Ramakalli. This variety is called Ramakalli. It will have a white, this grain will have a white line in between the black coat. Okay. Likewise, we are having a huge variety collections. After 1995, we started the survey and we have collected nearly 135 different types of traditional paddy varieties of southern India, mostly to the, okay. I will show the pictures in the presentation itself because it would this display won't be very clear in the camera. Ma'am, next slide, ma'am. We'll discuss about some of the varieties. Ma'am, before that, see that this is the paddy field overview. Next slide. Yeah, this is the paddy field overview. You can see the colors in the field itself: green, brown, red, black, like that. This is the overview of our own field. Next slide. We'll go through about a few varieties. So mostly all the traditional rice varieties are red in color. Okay, whatever we are consuming is white in color nowadays, but all the traditional rice varieties are red in color. Those red color rice varieties are very rich in polyphenols and anthocyanins, antioxidants, zinc and iron. For example, if we are having some anemic problem, we can consume particular rice variety in order to improve our hemoglobin content. Luckily, next slide now. Luckily, most of our Indian collections are red rice variety. There are more than 200 red rice variety, of which 51 belongs to the India, Tamil Nadu, and 33 varieties from Kerala. So most of the traditional rice varieties, what we are having in our India is red rice varieties. Next slide. Yeah, you can see the Kichdi Samba variety. It's a very good table rice variety. This particular photo, this rice is very white in color, pure white in color. Even without polishing, we can get a pure white rice variety. And Kauni Nel. This Kauni Nel is a red rice variety. I'll show you the rice. This is a rice. The dark brown color rice. This particular rice is a Kauni rice, dark brown color or black color rice. Okay, this black color rice is particularly pertaining to the royal guest. In southern India, for the royal guest, they'll prepare the dishes out of this particular Kauni rice only. Next slide. Piscine. It controls diarrhea. Pisni is the rice variety which when we consume it, it will control our diarrhea problem. And resistant to pests. Most of the crops, this Sevapukkurika variety won't get affected by any of the crop pests or diseases. Next slide. Variety resistant to flooding. Nowadays, you can see when you open the TV news channel, you can hear that due to monsoon rain, the entire crop was flooded. Our paddy crop was entirely damaged. Usually from the Tanjavur belt, they will tell the entire crop was flooded with the rainfall, flooded with the water like that. Even some of our traditional varieties like Samba Mosanam, it will be able to withstand the flooding. It will be able to come. Whenever the water level rises, the crop also rises accordingly. It won't get flooded. So such type of traditional varieties are also available with us. Next slide. Drought resistant variety, just opposite. Opposite to the flood is drought, extreme drought. There won't be available water for the crop. Warden Samba. We can cultivate Warden Samba in that particular period, drought period. Next. Varieties, yeah. Somebody has told we are consuming basmati rice. In addition to basmati, you can go for Kala Namak, high fragrant rice variety, Kala Namak. This rice is very white in color, very small rice varieties with very nice fragrance. You can get more fragrance than the basmati. And for puffed rice, puri in Tamil, puffed rice. For preparing puffed rice, Sambala rice variety is very suitable. Next slide. Yeah, when we get affected by tsunami, we are unable to cultivate farmers are unable to cultivate any of the paddy varieties. For those particular saline affected area, we advise the farmers to cultivate Kalar Palai or Kala Namak, which those two varieties are able to withstand salinity. Next slide. Some of the traditional varieties are having some of the filariasis, medicinal properties also. In order to control filariasis disease, we can consume Karunguruve rice. Karunguruve rice, we have to prepare porridge out of the Karunguruve rice, and we have to consume that particular porridge in order to control our filariasis disease. This text was available in our ancient literatures. Next. Some of the rice varieties like Neelan Samba and Tanga Samba, there are Neelan Samba and Kuriyadichan. There are galactococcus. It will help us to improve the milking yield of the lactating mothers. If we consume if the lactating mother is going to consume the Neelam Samba and Kuriyadichan, there's no need for depending upon the external source for the milk for their children. Okay, next. These are some of the pictures of the traditional vegetable varieties. First one is the winged bean, which is rich in protein. Next one is the Vadatanam Katuri, and the third one is ashcod. That particular ashcod is Benincasa hispida, Vaidya Kumbalam. Our Vaidyas, Ayurveda Vaidyas, they prepare a Pushmanda legium out of this Vaidya Kumbalam, and they'll do the treatment. Next, ma'am. These are some of the bottle gourd and rich gourd varieties. Next slide also. Yes, these are some of the traditional vegetable varieties. Likewise, we are having plenty of varieties in paddy, vegetables, pulses, everywhere. I have showed only few pictures of paddy, and I have showed only 2 or 3 types of rice now. So there are plenty of varieties. Whatever, these are all available in plenty among the farmers group. Only thing we have to do is we have to bring it up. We have to bring it up, and we have to conserve it, and we have to multiply it, and we have to cater it to the needy communities. Next slide now. Yeah. Next is the farming. What are the steps involved in the farming? From soil, water, minerals, human, plants, animals, microorganisms. These are all integrated to do the organic farming. The organic farming is nothing but we should not depend upon any external source. So our ancestors practiced the organic farming without use of any chemicals. They have did whatever the activity with the available sources which are available within them, with their community itself. They'll depend only upon their community to do the farming activities. Next step. Yeah, what are the menus? And the third slide itself, I told I will deal with the menus later on. So these are the type of biofertilizers which will improve the microorganism population in our soil. Next. Cow. Cattle population. We are having plenty of cattle population. Out of the cattle population, we are able to get cow dung, cow urine, cow ghee, like that. We can make use of those materials. Cow dung and cow urine, we can prepare Amrita Karisal. It's an excellent growth promoter. Only thing you have to add little jaggery. You have to give sweetness to promote the growth of microorganisms. With the use of cow dung, cow urine, and jaggery, we can prepare a excellent Amrita Karisal, a growth promoter, in order to improve the growth of the plants. So it's one type of manure. Next, composting. Next is the composting. Whatever the material, dry waste material, green waste material, whatever it is available. This is whatever available in our own farm. We can convert those waste materials into a useful material, like by doing the composting technology. Nowadays, this type of technology is followed even in the apartments by keeping a compound. Okay, they'll prepare their own compost, whatever the kitchen waste available, fruit peels, they are preparing their own compost in order to give nutrients to the plants in the terrace garden or in the backyard garden. So the best method is composting the whatever the waste materials available in the garden with the use of cow dung. Next slide. This is the next advanced stage, that is a vermicompost. With the use of earthworms, we can convert the waste, partially converted the green leaf and dry leaf waste with the cow dung. We can introduce the earthworms and we can harvest the vermicompost granules, which is highly rich in nitrogen. By this way, they can able to supply nitrogen to the crop. In the olden days, when we walk along the farmer's field, we can able to see the soil will be very friable in nature. When we put our hands inside the soil, we can able to collect so many handful of earthworms. But in nowadays, after the use of extensive use of chemicals, we are unable to find these earthworms. Earthworms are very farmer friendly. It's a friend of the farmer. But nowadays, we are unable to find even a single earthworm in the farmer's field because entire earthworms get vanished because of the use of more amount of chemical fertilizers. Okay, these are the things that we can use it as a manure. Instead of supplying nitrogen, phosphorus, and potash as chemicals, we can use first thing is cow dung, Amrita Karisal, and composting, vermicomposting. The next slide comes to the green manure. Next slide, now. Yeah, green manure plant. There are certain plants like sun hemp, daincha. We can cultivate those plants in the field, and we can, after certain growth, before the flowering of the green manure crop, we have to do the in-situ plowing. We have to plow back those plants into the field itself in order to incorporate the nutrients into the soil. This is the agati plant, sun hemp plant cultivated in the plant field, and it gets incorporated. Next slide. Before flowering of this particular crop, we have to incorporate those crop in the field by doing the in-situ plowing. We have to cut down the plants and we have to incorporate those plants into the field in order to utilize the nutrients from those plants. Next slide. Azolla, it is one of the form. We have to use this particular azolla in the paddy field in order to absorb the atmospheric nitrogen and to incorporate it into the soil. This azolla, it will absorb the atmospheric nitrogen, and while doing weeding across the paddy field, we are going to do the in-situ plowing those azolla into the paddy field and thereby increasing the nutrient content of the paddy field. Next. Yeah. So far we studied about the menus. Next comes the plants, pests and diseases. These are some of the pests, certain insects, rat and unwanted weed, and most of the diseases are caused by bacteria, viral, fungi. The background may be the Vata, Pitta or Kapha. So if the particular crop is affected by Vata, Pitta and Kapha only, then only the plant will be more susceptible to those viruses or bacteria or fungi. Yeah, next man. How to overcome these plants, diseases or pests. The text explains about the excellent use of neem plant. Either the use of neem seed, neem leaf, neem bark, neem oil, neem cake. So many extracts we can prepare it from the neem tree itself. From one tree, we can prepare n number of chemical biopesticide, not a chemical pesticide, biopesticide we can prepare. And our own household kitchen materials like chili, ginger, garlic. We can prepare two to three different types of extract by use of chili, ginger, and garlic. These are also mentioned in our text. Next, apart from this, kashayam. Nowadays, when we get cold, what our mom will do, they'll go and prepare some type of kashayam in the kitchen and they'll give. You drink this, better you drink this to prevent it. For example, during the corona period, what they do, Nilavembu kashayam. Some kashayam, they have prepared it and they gave to us. Yeah, Nilavembu kashayam, yes. Likewise, there are particular kashayam for preventing the plant from pest and diseases also. That one type is what I told is Calotropis sarcum, like that. Or Andrographis kashayam, Sida kashayam. This kashayam we can prepare out of our own plants available in the garden, and we can advocate it for the pest and diseases. Next. Apart from that kashayam or plant extract, we are having n number of traps. These are also available. It's like plants are, most of the pests are get attracted towards the light, and they'll get attracted, we can trap those pests. And most of the pests are attracted towards the yellow color. By hanging a yellow color sticky trap, we have to paint this tin with a yellow paint, and over that we have to apply some glutinous substance so that the pest will gets attracted towards the yellow color and it gets and stick on to the tin. Likewise, we can trap those insects. This is the pheromone trap. Okay, there are so many traps are available in order to prevent the entry of pests to the particular crop. Next slide. Yeah, some of the trap crops are also available. Marigold or chrysanthemum. If you're going to cultivate marigold or chrysanthemum near to our main field, what will happen? It will trap the whatever the pest is going to affect the main crop. It will get attracted towards the marigold because it emits a certain type of smell. This smell attracts the pest towards it. By that way, we can control our main crop from the pest and diseases. So these are all the materials available in our ancestral text. Now, slowly the farmers are practicing this. So our organization, we have studied much about this and we have validated it, and we are giving training to the farmers in order to follow this type of technology. So far, I did up to pest and disease. After that, the farmers are going to harvest those crops. After harvesting those crops, we have to dry it, crush it, clean it, weigh it, and sending it to the storage. How to store that? That is the last topic. How to store that our produce. Next slide now. Yeah, these are the different storage structures. This is the last slide. Yeah, just I'll complete within 3 minutes. These are the different storage structures which were available in our good olden days, like this kudir and the last one sal. These two structures are made up of mud, only mud and the plant root. They'll mix the mud along with the plant root and they'll make these two structures. Okay, these two structures are up to 3 meters height. We can able to store the grains, harvested grains. Okay, these two structures. The next one, the kodambe, this one. The second one, kodambe. It was built in the backyard of the farming community, and this built-in structure was made with mud or red soil. Nowadays, they are using even the brick and cement for this. And the thatch, that thatch structure is made up of bamboo or palm or the coconut. Okay, this will live. We can maintain this type of structure for more than 100 years. Even now, I can see that I am able to see this type of structure in the Jawad Hills. In Tirunelveli district, Jawad Hills farmers, those tribal community, they are maintaining this kodambe structures for storing the grains. And tombare, this is made up of completely wooden structure. It will have an opening at the top only. We have to open the top area and we have to put those grains from that place. And whenever we need, we have to take from that area only. This kalanjiam is a part of our room. Some portion. We have to allocate this portion for the particular storage structure. And they have to build a roof-like structure, wall-like structure with the help of brick and cement only. And they'll store the grains there. Okay. The next is machu. Almost kalanjiam or kalanjiam. Next is machu. Yes, on the roof. Okay, it will be built at least 5 meters above us, and it will be having a small door with aeration. We have to keep the grains inside the storage area, and we have to close it. The door will be having a small aeration in the main area only. Whenever we need, we have to open that and we have to close it in order to prevent the entry of rat. Main storage problem is rat. So we have to prevent it. The next, ural, just made up of completely ural. Ural is completely made up of bamboo. This structure was built by using bamboos. And the next structure is Marattombai. Marattombai is made up of any type of wood, whatever available in the area. But the only advantage here is it has two openings, one at the top and one at the bottom. We have to put the grains. When you're going to put the grains for storage, we have to put it from the top. when we want grains from the storage, we have to open the bottom layer of the opening and we have to draw the grains from that area. Yeah, Mudumakkal Tari also. It's one of the ancestral structure. This particular structure is called Vengaya Vengaya Pattare. It is used for maintaining storage of onion. They will put the stones here. Above the stones, they will put the neem tree plank, wood made up of neem tree plank, and on the sides they will build a bamboo sticks, and over it they will cover it with the coconut fronds. So this type of structure is useful for storing onion. Okay, onion, it will get more attractive. If it gets wet, it will, aspergillus mold will come. So we have to prevent those onions especially during the monsoon period. So this type of structure is used for storing onions. This Alsi Petti, this type of structure even I am having in my home for storing the rice nowadays. So it will have here almost 3 feet height, and we are having a closure on the top. We'll put rice in that petti, inside that Alsi Petti, and we'll put neem leaf. In addition to that, we'll put neem leaf inside the petti and we'll close it. Whenever we need, we'll open it and we'll take the rice from it. So these are all the very ancient storage structures what our farmers used for storing the grains, even the completed product like rice or dal, like that, and some of the vegetables. So far my presentation is completed. Now, as a conclusion thing, I want to show you a complete picture of our work. A short film for 7 minutes. Just after the film, we can have a discussion.
Amazing knowledge, ma'am. Amazing information and knowledge. Thank you, ma'am. The volume increase, Nina?
Everybody today understands the language of climate change and the climate change problem. How does something like traditional rice varieties relate to that? That there is a great deal of reason based on agronomic properties of these varieties, why these varieties are important. There are increasing pest attacks due to climate change, increasing disease attacks, outbreaks of disease due to climate change. We have a repertoire of seeds that can give you resistance to pests and resistance to diseases. We have varieties that are suited for flooded areas, suited for saline soil and alkaline soils.
எங்கள் அப்பா வந்து பாரம்பரிய ரகம் பயிர் வச்சாருங்க. அவங்க பயிர் வைக்கிறப்ப நிறைய விளைவு கம்மியாக இருந்தாலும் நல்ல ஆகாரம், நல்லா சாதம்லாம் தண்ணி விடாது, அது மாதிரி இருக்கும். அப்போ சாப்பிட்ற சாப்பாடு நம்ம காலையில் சமையல் பண்ணோம்னா சாயந்தரம் வரைக்கும் நல்லாயிருக்கும். அது பிறகு இந்த சின்ன அரிசிங்கெல்லாம் வந்து அது வந்து அப்போது சமையல் பண்ணி அப்போது சாப்பிட்டா தான் நல்லாயிருக்கும். அது ஏன்னா நம்ம கெமிக்கல்லாம் போடுறோம். அது வந்து நான் வந்து இப்போ மாறினதுக்கு காரணமே வந்து எனக்கு வந்து மருந்துங்க அடித்து எனக்கு துட்டு கொடுக்க முடியல. அந்த கடையில் கடன் வாங்கிட்டு என்னால் கொடுக்க முடியல. பாக்கெட்டில் அந்த பில்லுங்க அப்படியே இருந்துக்கினே இருக்கும்.
We are working with the traditional paddy varieties for the past 25 years, and we are also conserving nearly 140 traditional paddy varieties in our farm and one more location at Nagapatnam. And with the help of GIZ project, we are able to give seeds, traditional paddy seeds to the farmers, nearly 48 varieties. We gave it to nearly 66 farmers in Kanchipuram and Tirunelveli districts, and we gave training to them with regard to the cultivation aspects and also the nutritional background of each and every traditional paddy variety. And we also did the nutritional analysis of all the 48 samples also. 48 rice samples, we did the nutritional analysis with the accredited laboratory at Chennai.
We started analyzing the physicochemical properties, nutrient analysis, acceptability and glycemic index. In terms of macronutrients, that is wide variation between the commercial rice varieties or polished varieties and traditional rice varieties. Especially in terms of calcium and iron, it is very, very high. These traditional varieties which are pigmented rice, the milling process is very, very minimal. The amount of thymine that it retained is more. But whereas compared to the commercial varieties, the thymine is lost during the polishing.
We formed the Sirgari Organic Farmers Association in 2005, which was created by the farmers for marketing of the organic products, particularly the traditional paddy varieties. We have approached several the local banks and the societies for market support, but there was no support from the local banks. And when we approached NABARD, this UPNRM program, we got the first credit support with the collaboration of GIZ and NABARD in 2010, which was the breakthrough for this farmer collective, which is the association which started the marketing of organic products in a big way.
Through this program, we could multiply the seeds to a larger extent. And in fact, I would say these were the seeds for the marketing program. Because what we realized at the end of the day, if we cannot upscale the cultivation of these varieties and we cannot upscale the marketing of these varieties cannot survive for a long time.
We now have trained a set of trained people who understand what product development is and the fact that they don't want to go retail as of now. Chances are consumers may not pick our rice because many people don't know what is traditional rice varieties, and of course they've not understood the difference by tasting it, so why should they pick it up? But how do we now package it well so that the consumers have a reason to buy?
This rice, traditional rice, has its own aroma and everything, so if you use that, and it is always better in terms of your flavor, in terms of your texture, and in terms of your health benefits as well. Because it is a very traditional, it is not much polished or any chemical which has been added or any preserves which has been added to polish the rice or something. It is all completely organic.
இப்போ நாங்க பாரம்பரிய நெல் பயிர் வைக்கிறதுனால எங்களுடைய மண் வளம் வந்து பாதுகாக்கப்படுது. மருந்து போட்டு போட்டு கெட்டு போன மலடான நிலம் வந்து இப்போ மறுபடியும் நல்லபடியா பூக்க தொடங்கி இருக்குது. நல்லா மகசூல் வருது. அதே சமயத்துல இப்போ இருக்கிற குழந்தைங்க வந்து பார்த்தோம்னா இப்பவே கண்ணாடி போடுறாங்க. செவிட்டு காது சரியாக கேட்காம செவிட்டு மிஷின் போடுறாங்க. பல வியாதிகள், நிறைய ஊனமுற்ற குழந்தைகள் வந்து பிறகுறாங்க. அதெல்லாம் கண்டிப்பாக அடுத்த தலைமுறையில் வராது அப்படின்ற மாதிரி நாங்கள் இந்த இயற்கை முறையில் பாரம்பரிய நெல்லுங்களை பயிர் வைக்கிறதுனால அடுத்த ஜெனரேஷனில் இந்த வந்து கண்டிப்பாக குறையும் அப்படின்றது எங்களுக்கு நம்பிக்கைங்க மேம். இதனால் அடுத்த ஜெனரேஷனும் பாதுகாக்குது எங்களால்.
I think the key is to realize that these are to be saved, not just as part of heritage for our future. It's not like a museum piece, but it's something that is not the agriculture of the past. In a sense, it's the agriculture of today, and more importantly, agriculture for the future.
Yeah, here they have showed two different types of rice, I think. So brown and almost reddish brown and white rice. White rice will take very shorter time to cook. In case of brown or red rice or black rice, we have to soak the rice for at least for 4 to 5 hours, and we have to cook it. And it will take longer time to cook when compared to the white rice. But whatever the rice, now what we are eating, that product was obtained after polishing. Okay, but these type of traditional rice varieties, whatever I showed now, like this type, these are not unpolished, purely unpolished rice. This is highly rich in nutrition. But whatever we are consuming is nutrition less, only the carbohydrate content we are consuming. So, okay, with this, I'll conclude my presentation and whatever the questions you can ask me.
Brilliant, ma'am. First of all, I have to congratulate you. The amount of information and knowledge, so much is available,
Thank
and
you,
we have no clue what's happening this side, and whatever we are getting in the shop and what we are eating, I think is absolutely not doing any good, but in fact harming our body. That's what we are going ahead with this material world and all that. But I'm sure children will have a lot of questions, and we have teachers also here. I'm very happy that Vasanthi ma'am has joined here. Vasanthi ma'am, you can open your video so that we'll be very happy to invite you for this. She's a very good friend of mine and a very senior principal and from Karnataka, and she's here. Welcome, Vasanthi ma'am. Yeah. For the information of all of you, CBSE is looking at the completely revisiting the syllabus and making it more interesting because they want more and more schools to participate. Vasanthi ma'am is also part of the committee. Now we are all working on it. So you can shoot your questions to. You have a authority here, children. Please ask them because so many even adults like us, we have not got any information on these areas. They are unfortunate that we don't have any knowledge on this. So please ask your questions and ask Parimala ma'am. Any questions, children and teachers, you can ask.
Yes, ma'am. Hari Om, ma'am. First of all, as usual, I would like to thank Shanti, ma'am, for bringing the stalwarts of knowledge system. Seriously, ma'am. Every time, amazing sessions. Parimala, ma'am, namaste. Ma'am, every step I have a question. Next moment, you have an answer for this. Like, this is a perfect lecture for me after so many days, ma'am. My question here is, like these days, people are advising so many programs on the televisions, like eat this, eat that. But my grandparents used to say that you eat your staple food. If you are habituated to rice from the beginning, eat it. If you are habituated to wheat from the beginning, you should have it. You should not change your diet habits. So is that correct? Like suddenly, like on a diet, we should eat oats or millets or bajra, ragi, or we should follow our staple food. What is correct?
We have to follow our staple food. Even for how I am telling is, even for the diabetic questions, the doctor's advice is avoid rice. Simply they'll tell avoid rice, go for wheat, go for this. Nowadays, they're telling go for oats, go for wheat, go for ragi. That too as chapati or roti, not as a kanji or cool. It's not so. Even in our, suppose if you are following the diet with rice, only with rice, okay, there are n number of varieties like Maple Samba, one particular variety, which is very highly rich in fiber content. Diabetic patients can readily take it as a staple food. They don't want to step it out of rice and they have to go for wheat. Suppose if you're going to step it out of rice and they have to start taking wheat, they'll be having some other problem. For most of the Indian, especially for the South Indians, chapati, they won't prefer it in the night hours. But the doctors want them to take 2 chapatis during night hours as a dinner for the diabetic patients. Don't follow it. Just follow our own traditional staple food. Even in rice, we are having medicines for diabetic also. That is the example, Maple Samba or Puliyadicham. These 2 rice varieties are very rich in fiber content. Even without having 2 cups of white rice, the diabetic patients can have 1 cup. Just 1 cup of Maple Samba rice is enough to control the diabetes. So don't change it. Don't skip your staple food.
Thank you, ma'am. You authenticate.
As you said before, you are studied about the modern farming in your higher studies, and why the natural farming is not mentioned in the modern books and etc.
Yeah, that is in the case of when I completed during the year 1998, it was the case. But nowadays, even the curriculum, the entire, like you are going to, they have telling that they have to introduce more subjects in your curriculum. Likewise, in agriculture also, they have slowly started introducing those organic technologies or natural farming technologies in our curriculum. When I studied my UG for 4 years, I didn't have one single paper in organic farming. But I did 84 papers in my undergraduation. for the 4 years and 16 papers in my post-graduation, not even a single paper in organic farming. But now, after during the year, from the year 2010 onwards, I can be able to see the one single paper in organic farming in the curriculum itself. Slowly the government, they have, because of the green revolution, they have completely changed the natural farming system to the chemical farming system. It's not very easy to change the chemical farming system to the natural farming system without the intervention of government. So the government sector, they have to come, and then after the impact of this, slowly the impact due to the intervention of so many NGOs in the sector, the natural farming keep on rising.
Your voice is breaking, Parimala ji. Your voice is slightly breaking, Parimala ji.
Hari Om everyone.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. Hari Om, Shanti ma'am, Parimala ma'am, Meena ma'am, everyone here. Firstly, I was extremely glad and surprised and overjoyed to see the video, like in this era where people look forward to earn money rather than providing with the best quality of products. In this, like CIKS has is looking forward to provide with the best ever products possible. But we have recently read that, ma'am, like people from North would like to have food of their North place, like the rice grown there will be suitable more for them because of the climate, because of the region they live, and whereas for South, it will be better to suitable for South. So in this case, if we provide them with the traditional rice which they are producing, will it be suitable for them?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. For example, I got the answer, basmati rice. Basmati rice is a traditional rice variety which is prevalent throughout India. Okay, but whatever the basmati we are getting will be different from the Dehradun area, that is from Himachal Pradesh or Uttar Pradesh. Their basmati rice will be having more fragrant, whatever we are getting will be entirely different, somewhat different. But first we have to depend upon our own resources. Whatever the rice pertaining to the South India, the South Indians should consume it. Then only we can supply the rice to the North Indians. But when compared to the entire India, the black rice, Manipur black rice, Choco, one particular variety called Choco Porita, it is a Manipur black rice. It is highly rich in nutrients. Even our own South Indians, we can consume that particular variety too. Okay, in case of Siraga Samba, it's an external Siraga Samba and Kala Namak. Kala Namak is a North Indian variety, and Siraga Samba is the South Indian variety. Both are having the same quality, good fragrant rice varieties, which is suitable for making pulao or biryani. So according to our availability, we can have it. It's not what you are telling is from the South, the rice should not be supplied to the North because the North Indian people, they won't prefer the
South Indian because they live in different regions. They will have their different taste, and it's like preferred to have their own region style because they have always lived in that climate.
Yes. They can take their own traditional rice varieties like Manipur black or the basmati rice or jeera masala rice pertaining to the Kerala, like that. Whatever the traditional rice varieties cultivated in their own area, they can consume it. For us, especially in Tamil Nadu, we should not go and depend on basmati for rice for the fragrant rice. We can go for Siraga Samba. In case of Uttar Pradesh, they can go for Kala Namak. They should not depend upon. It's not basically needed for them to depend upon Siraga Samba for the fragrant rice. In case of Himachal Pradesh, they can go for basmati. In case of northeast area, they can go for Chaco, like that. Whatever the varieties available in the locality, they can consume it, but it should be of traditional rice variety. But I got answer like Sona Masuri. Sona Masuri is an improved variety, cross obtained between the traditional variety and the hybrid, improved variety. It's a hybrid. But the name Sona Masuri is prevalent in almost Karnataka, even in Tamil Nadu. Before entering into the CA case, even I consume Sona Masuri. So the Sona Masuri variety is prevalent in almost all the states because of the slenderness and white in color and very taste. But whatever we are eating is only carbohydrate without any nutrients. Okay, some of the varieties like Kuri Adichan, like that varieties are very rich in iron and zinc. We have to consume those varieties, but it's very hard to cook. We have to soak it for 4 to 5 hours and we have to cook for 1 hour. Nowadays, in the fast growing world, we don't have time to cook. If you want to know more about the rice varieties, you can visit our website also, CAK's website. On that website, you can see the N number of rice varieties, their characteristics, everything is displayed.
What is the website address, ma'am?
Yeah, I'll type it in the chat
box. And post it in the chat box so that others can.
Yeah.
Please note it down, children. It may be of help to you.
Yes, ma'am. We are from Lakshmi Vidyalaya, Kannur.
Yeah.
You told that there are many rice varieties with medicinal benefits. But the rice we get now is polished rice. They won't have any medicinal benefits. So, ma'am, is there some way how we can obtain the rice now?
Yes, for that only I have posted on the website in the chat box. I have posted on website www.sempulam. Sorry, so that's a spell. SEMPULAM.com.
The traditional rice variety.
Yeah. You can open this website. You can see the different traditional rice varieties available for marketing. You can go through the text pertaining to the particular text rice variety. Suppose if you need samba if you need any particular rice variety for your ailment, like paralysis or hemoglobin problem or iron content or zinc problem, or you're having a lactating mother in your house, you can decide. Whatever the characteristics of the particular rice variety, it was displayed in the website. You can go through the content and you can decide and you can place order. The orders can be taken from throughout the India. We can able to supply rice varieties to all over the India.
You have any other questions, Swarna? You have a lot of questions. So it actually addresses everybody. Yes.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. I was thinking about this Vata, Pitta and Kapha dosha. I understood that like the soil will be replaced. Ma'am, if we are gardening in the home, like for 1 or 2 varieties, we can replace the soil. But my doubt is how we can replace for the entire acres of the land.
No, not like that. Not like that. The particular root zone. Suppose if you are going to plant a tree, the root zone will be 3 meters surrounding this only. We have to take over only the top soil, not the underground soil, only the top soil, and we have to replace the soil. That's all. And moreover, we are not going to take entirely the soil. Suppose if the soil is moist, we have to take little part of the soil apart from that, and we have to add the dry soil and we have to mix it and level it. Suppose if the entire soil is dry, we can irrigate and keep it moist. We are not going to take the entire soil. Your question is very good. Suppose if it is in grow bag or pot, you can replace the soil. But an entire area, you can't replace the soil. You can add some mix.
Yeah, mix.
Yeah.
Yes.
Any other question? Anybody having? I'm very, very happy to invite Arunima ma'am from CBSE. She's here. Arunima ma'am, can you have a video so that we can welcome you? Arunima ma'am has been a very dynamic secretary of CBSE in Chennai. She was in charge of the Center for Excellence. And now she has now been shifted to, she's transferred to Delhi now in the academics office. She is looking at KTPI as a subject. Arunima ma'am, can you hear me?
Yeah, good morning to all of you. Sorry, I'm a bit late in joining your meeting.
Ma'am, Arunima ma'am, just as an introduction, these are all KTPI teachers and children from about 8 schools. We have Chinmaya, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8 schools. Arya Gurukul Kalyan from Mumbai, and Amrita Vidyalayas children and teachers are here from Trichy and Tuticorin. We have had 5 sessions so far. This is the 6th session. And we have an authority on agriculture here, Mr. Parimala, Mrs. Parimala. She's given a wonderful talk. We have recorded it. We can share it with you. It will be very nice if you can address the gathering here. So they also feel there's a lot of endorsements to CBSE for the subject. Because children want to know, why should I study this subject? We are not able to convince them. Though we tell them that there's so much of knowledge, Indian knowledge system is something really, really precious. These are children who are motivated and they really want to take it up forward, ma'am. And they've been asking so many questions. And one thing is that everybody has been attending the session without fail. I can see that they're asking questions. They've been learning so much. And I'm very happy that now CBSE is also giving their, endorsement to the subject. By your presence itself will make a lot of encouragement for children, ma'am. You want to say something? I'll be very happy, ma'am.
Ma'am, all of that I want to say is that what you have done is wonderful. This entire arrangement of having special sessions on each of those chapters which are part of the KTPI, I think this is what we all need to do. And I would like to see that all the schools who are offering KTPI attend these sessions. because these are really very, very useful for them. And as I was discussing with you yesterday, this is what we plan for in the future year. That is, we'll have these type of online sessions so that teachers and students are familiar with the content of the KTPI. And they get motivated to take it up, because this is a really useful subject. So this is what we are planning at. I'm sure with the cooperation of all the schools which are at present taken up KTPI, they are the forerunners. They are the ones who are showing the way. And that is why I should congratulate all those schools, all those teachers, and all those students who have taken up this subject. You have done great, and I want you to motivate others to take up what you have already done.
Yes.
So this is our plan for the coming academic year, and I thank you very much for arranging these type of sessions. I think we will make it more formal. In fact, the morning actually I was preparing for our curriculum committee meeting, where we will include this type of online sessions as a formal way of we'll include it in our whole process of teaching learning of KTPI. For that, we'll have a separate meeting with you, ma'am. And once again, I'm a little sorry. Actually, I had actually missed out the timing. I was busy in my office work, and I actually
Don't
missed
worry,
out.
ma'am. We have the recording of all the sessions. I'm going to send you a mail and details about what all we had. And this whole thing we started to promote the subject, because when children started asking, what is the use in studying this subject? There's one child studying in one school and two children studying in another school. So we said we should take it up and motivate them. And every time the speakers talk here, we are getting so enriched with information, which we did not know. Being in India, we don't even know the Indian knowledge system is what every time I made to feel. Parimala ma'am, the last 1 hour, she was pouring. She was absolutely non-stop. The flow she had, the information she had was amazing. So I think it's very important that we take it across to the student community in a big way. We started promoting the subject, but it is happening in little slowly. But I'm sure your intervention, it will happen in a big way. I'm sure.
We'll all work together towards it. Thank you, ma'am. So I request the resource person to please continue, and I'll be there in the session. I'll listen to you. Okay. I'll go through the recording.
Yeah.
And
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Your presence has made a difference. Thank you. Yes, Parimala ji, you can continue. Any other questions anybody has, you can ask questions.
I want to tell one thing. Tamil one saying is there. ஐந்தில் விளையாதது ஐம்பதில் விளையாது. We have to bend in the age at the age of 5 itself. We can't bend at the age of 50. So we have to teach these children at this age itself. Because I was handling the sessions for the Montessori school students in my area. I have handled almost 3 schools. Okay, we have to teach at that age itself what is our traditional knowledge, especially in agriculture. Because without agriculture and without farming, they won't get food for themselves. In the emerging situation now, the situation nowadays, almost all the city dwellers, they are giving more interest towards promoting their own vegetable garden in the terrace or in the apartment, everywhere. So they very well learned during the COVID time. They're unable to get the produce from the outside. We have to live on our own produce. So these children at this age, so they have to learn about the farming technologies and how to do at least the basic farming things they have to learn.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Would any teacher from outside Amrita Vidyalayam or Arya Gurukul would like to thank? Then one Chinmaya teacher also, or a student can thank Parimala ma'am for the wonderful session today. Yes, Parimala ji.
Yeah, can I add one more point? I have mentioned a new website called www.simpulam.com. Actually, our organization is CIK, Center for Indian Knowledge System, and our research director, she has told that without marketing these traditional rice varieties, we can't promote the cultivation of rice varieties, these traditional varieties among the farmers group. Because we, the consumers, we are mainly depending upon the white rice improved varieties like Sona Masuri or Ponni, like that. We are not depending upon any of the traditional rice varieties. Unless we don't have the marketing channels through which we can able to get, like one student asked, Kannur, they have asked how we can get those traditional rice varieties. Without marketing channel, we can't get that. In order to improve that marketing strategy only, they have introduced the website called Sempulam. We have introduced one of the private sector. Sempulam means Semmayana Nilam. Okay. Sempulam. Semmayana Nilam. Whatever the products obtained from the fertile land, Semmayana Nilam. We are marketing through that particular private sector called Sempulam Sustainable Solutions. That website name only I have typed here for getting those traditional rice varieties.
Thank you, ma'am. It's, I think, only there is a demand, people will be able to grow that. That's what ma'am is trying to say. More and more people with knowledge and awareness should procure the right kind of stuff so that farmers are encouraged to cultivate them. That is something.
Cultivate the particular. Yes.
Very, very simple. Yes, Muthu Lakshmi, you want to say something?
Namaskar, ma'am.
Yeah.
Namaskar, ma'am. Myself, Mahika SV of grade 12 from Amrita Vidyalayam, Thuthukudi. From this session, I have understood so much about male no canal and keel no canal, which has been related with plants and agriculture. All of the lives in the earth has been related with Panchangam, and this is a wondering task to me. And then the depth of the knowledge that we learn about from our ancient and the evidences that we read, this very remarkable one. And ma'am had told lots of information about from Viksa Ayurveda, starting from sowing of seeds, seed selection, to the use of plants as indicators, so that this boosts us to read the books, Viksa Ayurveda. And then we got so much information about the medicinal values of red rice, varieties, traditional varieties of paddies and wheat. And also we have got so much information about the flood resistant and drought resistant crops. And ma'am also has explained about the storage structures, which in my olden days, in my childhood, I used to go to my native place where in my great grandmother's house, where I used to see the mud pots where they used to store the grains. Yes. And that reminds me of it. Until now, we were going to markets, we used to see only ponni rice as a edible yes. one. But now, after this, we will be going and having a glance at different varieties of rice, and we'll used to taste them. So agriculture is like a field which plays a very vital role in a human life. And this session has really touched our life. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Wonderful, wonderful, Muthu Lakshmi. I think one of the best feedback anybody has given. What's the name? Mahika. Your feedback is absolutely amazing. Gives a lot.
You narrated the entire session.
Yeah, she spoke very nicely. And you have somebody from Kasaragod.
Abhirami. Is it Abhirami?
Yes, Abhirami.
Hari Om, ma'am. I'm Abhirami of class 12 of Chinmaya Vidyalaya, Kasaragod. The session was wonderful. We got much more information about our ancient agriculture practices. We got to know more information about the maintenance, increased westernization of agriculture and of crops, its impact due to chemicals. We must appreciate the hard work of farmers who are immensely contributing to feed the high population. We got to know about the variety of rices. And a very special thanks to Mrs. Parimala ma'am for live explanation and information session. We thank CCMT Cell for this wonderful session. Thank you so much.
I'm an 11th grade student from Chinmaya Vidyalaya, Kannur. And I'd like to say that we found this session very informative and knowledgeable. And I'd like also, there's a lot of cultural differences that we can see, like the names of rice and the storage structures are very different in Kerala. Like, for example, in my grandparents' house, they use a patayam for storing rice.
Yes.
Yeah, that's not seen in Tamil Nadu. So I can say we've learned a lot and we're looking forward to more sessions in the future. Thank you.
Wonderful. One more last. Who's
Sharmila?
that? Sharmila.
Introduce yourself. Yeah.
I'm Sharmila from Amrita Vidyalayam, Nagapattinam. First of all, thank you for this wonderful session. And I also want to thank Srimati Parimala ma'am, as the topic was very interesting, as we had learned more and more deep details of agriculture, as she started with the basis of agriculture, and she had also explained a lot about the storage devices. And also we had enjoyed about the attractive pictures and facts of variety of rices, which made us more enthusiastic. As usual, we had enriched with a lot of knowledge about agriculture, and the explanation was very clear and we had understood well. Once again, thank you for this wonderful session, and we are waiting for the upcoming interesting sessions, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Sharmila. And we have a principal, Chinmaya International School, Rajeshwari ma'am is here. Probably she can give her views about the sessions that are going on, and we can talk about it.
Thank you so much, Amma. Thank you, Parimala ji. Very, very enlightening and very informative session. Children have definitely benefited with your knowledge. It was effortless. So much of flow was there in your talk, in your slides, in your information that you have provided. This is definitely going to help all our children. Thank you so much. And thank you, Education Cell, for organizing such beautiful sessions for our children. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think KTPI subject is the only subject which children are enjoying this privilege. Every chapter they've gone through sessions, they've collected a lot of information. They have got one more, which I'm going to do in another 2 weeks' time, is the other technology. That is the last chapter I want to take up in class 12. We are looking for kind of the best speaker here. You'll really, really be happy to listen to him. So that will be the last session for the class 12. Then we'll look at taking class 11 later. Thank you so much, Parimala ji. I think I have to convey my regards to Mr. Balasubramaniam. He was very kind enough to guide me to you so that you could do this session. It was absolutely packed with information. I don't think in this 1 hour anybody could have justified so much to the topic. And the children, you should understand, all the speakers, they go through your book. They study the lesson which is given in the book, and then from there they're taking you on. So your papers, when you write, should be very rich with information. All these talks are all available. We are going to make it available to the schools. We'll send it to you also. Anytime you want, you can. They've been kind enough to allow us to record the talks, and so it will be available in our website as well as in our portal that we have developed. Enjoy it and prepare well, and we have to contribute to the country back. You see, our traditional system is so wonderful. Who is going to take care of this rich cultural heritage and the traditional background of the country? You youngsters have a lot of responsibility. And if you take it up, if someone from this group is so moved, so motivated that they feel I should study agriculture, I think that will be a success for us. You can see Parimala ma'am, she has studied in Coimbatore Agricultural College and doing so much of research. And India is a farming country with farming. It's a main occupation is farming here, and we are losing all that slowly. So it is for us to give a boost to it. I'm sure with modern technology and ancient knowledge, you children can do wonders. Both combining together, you will be able to really, really do wonders. Thank you so much. Is anybody raising the hand there?
Yes, Amma. Kasargod, Lakshmi Parvati.
Quickly, we have to wind up. It's going to be time. Yes, Kasargod.
Hariom, ma'am, Lakshmi Parvati of Chinmaya. So we KTPI students of CBVK are maintaining herbal garden at our school. There are 50 plants set up, and including Dasha Pushpa Valli. So we released a book as a part of Golden Jubilee celebration. Thank you.
Okay, so they want to promote their school. Thank you. We appreciate
Nice to hear.
what you are doing. Nice to hear that. Everybody should think about what way we can contribute. Thank you so much, Parimala ji. It's again my great privilege on behalf of Education Cell. I give my thanks to you, and thanks to Arunima ma'am for being available for this. Even your 5 minutes coming here has made a difference. Thanks to Mrs. Rajeshwari, Principal Chinmaya International School, for being the part of the session. She almost attends all the session. And also Vasanti ma'am from Karnataka for being, she's one of a very, very promising principal, and she is also being inducted into this, looking into the syllabus of KTPI. Thanks to everybody. Thanks to all of you children and the teachers who are joining in, and I'm sure you have enjoyed the session. Let us have the one more session when we will do the last chapter on the others technology. Yes, Parimala ma'am.
Yes. One last request. Thanks to everyone for listening my jet speed presentation. It's very speed. I know very well, but I have to cover all the, even I didn't cover so many chapters. I know very well because the time is not enough for me. One kind request to all school principals and the children, wherever you are having a small place in your school premises, try to promote, like Kasargod, they told they are having a herbal garden like that. Try to promote a small vegetable garden, small herbal garden, because only by studying the books, the students can't learn anything about agriculture or farming. At least they should have some small area. If suppose if you are not having any ground level area, promote it in a small grow bags or pots like that. They should do the practical activity to learn about the different stages of plant. It's a humble request to all the schools.
Most of them have vermicompost and all that, ma'am. They
Yes,
all,
ma'am.
we encourage such things. So they do have such things in their own schools as a part of biology studies. They do that. They do have vermicompost pits and things like that. I'm
Yes.
sure it's most of them will be having a garden and plantation in a small way.
Small
Thank you so
garden.
much. Thank you so much. So with this, we come to the end of the session. Let's all sit straight and have a Shanti part and close the session. Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudashate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Thank you.